Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20 and welcome to episode 105 of MCEternal, where today we're going to play with some fusion stuff. Last episode we started making some liquid deuterium, and we also started looking at, hey, you're supposed to go there, liquid tritium. And that's pretty good times. The rendering on Ender Tanks is funky. And I don't know like what causes it. It's a little bit weird is all I can tell you. Something somewhere is breaking the rendering on that. I just noticed like two... you think that's because there's like stuff in there? You think that's like their animation? Or is that just broken rendering? I can't tell. Anyway, I think it's broken rendering. Fusion. Yeah, last episode we got prepared for what's going to be our fusion reactor. We're going to build a big one. And then we're going to see if our current deuterium tritium production line is capable of supplying what we need to supply to keep the whole thing running. So between episodes, I cooked up a few, roughly 500 fusion electromagnets, transparent ones. They required a lot of copper and a lot of processing. If we look at making 500 of these, we'll see we need something like, I don't know, 4,000-ish copper. We need to make about 8,000 tough alloy, which wasn't a big deal. We're really low on stuff now, right, because we processed all that, right? So that's why we're low on lithium, we're low on copper, but that's okay. It'll all be all right. It'll all work out in the end. Speaking of copper and lithium, specifically lithium, how are you guys doing over here? So you're doing okay, 3.3 Kelvin. You're at 3.3 Kelvin, and you've got that coming in there. I'm wondering if it would not be a bad idea to bump this up. Can I like bump this up like a lot? Like what if I made this 1,000 R per tick? What would that do for the temperature and the production? So you're at 66 millibuckets. So what if we made you 1,000? Does that make a difference? It doesn't seem to, right? It doesn't seem to be making a difference, does it? Huh, that's interesting. What if we made it like 10,000 R per tick? Booyah. Really not a difference, huh? Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. It's like, nope, I'm fine. I guess 400's where it's at then. Yeah, okay. Neat. So I guess if we want to produce more of this stuff that we're making over here, because obviously we've got a little bit of lithium going in here and then also lithium coming down here to make this stuff, right? So we're making a little bit of lithium dust using that, and then we're also turning that into our tritium. If it turns out that we need more tritium and deuterium than we're producing, which we should find out relatively quickly, hopefully it's not too bad, we'll rush back here and look at ramping this thing up, right? At the very least, I suspect we could just make more thermal evaporation blocks, and we could probably get rid of the solar generators because they're really not necessary anymore. And we can just pillar it all the way up, right? So let me actually like request some evaporation blocks. Oh, good. Let me just get another 100, so we have a lot in there because that's cheap-ish, relatively cheap. So let's go check out nuclear craft fusion. One of the experiments we were going to do here was nuclear craft versus mechanism, right? Now, I know mechanism wasn't using a lot of fuel, and we were getting a lot of power from it, but the reactor was behaving a little funny. It kept resetting on us, and somebody, I think in the comments somewhere, said it might be if it's on a chunk boundary. It is technically not within a chunk. There is one little piece of it that bleeds into another chunk over there. So that's not an ideal situation, I guess. But we'll see. I'm not sure. But we kept having things go wonky on our reactor controller. And it might be because, like, this chunk loads before this chunk or something like that. And if that happens... but, I mean, like, they're all chunk loaded, so it shouldn't happen? But, I don't know. What do I know? I don't know nothing. We're going to figure it out. Anyway, we're going to head over to our fusion area for nuclear craft. We're going to set up the nuclear craft fusion reactor. We're going to see how to cool it. And how to keep it going, and then we'll kind of go from there. That sound like a plan? So off to the nuclear area we go. So how's everything going out here? Seems fine. Everything seems okay to me. So let's start with the center of this dude. Oh, no, that's not what we want. I want this thing. And we're going to want our fusion stuff. So first off, the fusion core. Dun 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 dun. Quest complete. Hooray! And you can probably go away. I've planted my copper seeds. Boop. So big 3x3 multi-block structure, capable of managing the fusion reactor that we're about to set up here. So I'm just going to spitball this, but roughly speaking, we were going to have 12 blocks out on each side of our fusion guy. So I'm going to leave 2 of these in there. I did 50 because I was lazy. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then just the rest. So it's going to be a big fusion reactor. We'll probably use a lot of fuel, like a lot. I don't know how much is a lot, but I feel like it'll probably use a lot. Now the way this works is we have to create a hollow cuboid style ring of fusion blocks. So of these electromagnets. Wow, that was pretty well lined up. Good job, me. And they're going to need power as well, which will be super fun. And unfortunately, because they need power and they hold power, they're not going to be building gadgetable because they're tile entities. Which stinks, but they need power, so that's the reason they're tile entities, right? Not too shabby. All right, so that's the first of 4 rings, right? And we're going to need an empty hollow center. So what we're going to have is a ring that goes around like this, right? So these guys all need to extend around like that. Cool. And we're going to see how cool we can get with this thing. Because it should be cool. I've never built one this big, not even in a test world. So I have no idea what this is going to look like in terms of hydrogen use, in terms of power gen. Hopefully it's good. Okay, coming in here. I think we'll have, like, roughly speaking, probably close to a stack of these electromagnets remaining once I'm done with all the building. Because I said, I think it was 448 that I needed, and I crafted around 500 because I was just, you know, rounding. Perfect. Sweet. All right, about 20 more. Was it 4? Okay, I guess it was 480 that I needed then. Well, there you go. So that's what your electromagnetic ring looks like. So it's basically, you know, place a block and you place, you know, above, below, on either side. So there's your electromagnetic ring. So now let's get some flux points, because these guys need a power. So we're going to pop one here. And we're going to have you be Darrell20's network, and you're going to disable the limit. Now what's going to happen is the power is going to spread from one magnet to the next. But it doesn't spread that far. As much as I would like to see it spread, it just doesn't, right? So unfortunately, what you find is that it goes out an okay-ish amount, but not wonderful amount. Yeah, that about jives. Let's like let's put these on all 4 corners here. So we'll do Darrell20's network, disable limit, so that you can just pump all the power you want in there. I'm not entirely sure how these work, to be honest with you, because if you watch the power, it's like a big burst. See how it's doing that? So I don't know how that spreading power thing works. All right, guys, so I kind of left this to sit for a little bit just to see if it will eventually spread enough, and it doesn't. So you can see these corners over here not getting fully like pulled in, right? So let's do this. What I'm gonna do is pop this guy on this corner, and we're gonna do Darrell20's network, and we'll disable limit on that, and then we'll do a similar one under here. Because remember, like when you're doing these connections, you have to do these 2 and then these 2, and we're gonna make sure that they go green and stay green. That's really important, that they go green and stay green. Because what'll happen is if these things lose power, these electromagnets, the fusion reaction that's happening inside of it will break. And then the plasma will spill out, and that will be a bad day for you and everyone nearby. So you don't want that to happen. You don't want a star to explode around your base. Generally not great. It's not gonna like explode, but it'll leak out some nasty fluids, and it'll make you have to reset your reactor, and none of those are things you're going to want to do. I assure you of that. So we'll get all this stuff cooking here. Cool. And then we should have nice and green. Cool. So the goal is just powering the electromagnets so that they can contain the plasma. So what's going to happen is we're going to pump in deuterium and tritium. It's going to be superheated into a plasma, and that'll start generating electricity, right? Generating RF. And that plasma is going to be contained within those electromagnets, right? Magnetism keeps the plasma in there. If they run out of power, the magnets will fail, and then the electromagnets will leak out the plasma, and you'll have to restart your reactor, which is a big waste of energy and fuel, and also makes a little bit of a mess. Won't explode though. It won't like destroy things, right? So that looks nice and stable now. So I'm pretty happy with that situation. All right, so you know you set up your fusion reactor properly if you look at it and it's no longer red, right? When we saw this before, it was red. It said there was something wrong with something. Now it's saying that you're good. You've got a toroid size of 13, so that's the 12 blocks out, and I presume the 13th block is like, well, technically it's the 14th block. I don't know. 12 blocks out, so that's a toroid. Okay, that's cool. Roughly speaking, I don't know. I guess it's the toroid size is the number of connectors plus 1, right? So we've got a couple things we need to look at here, right? So we've got the input tanks, and we've also got output tanks. So these two are the inputs. There's also a couple buttons over here that we're going to want to talk about. So let's talk about the first button here, prevent input overflow. When it's off, it will allow the same fuel type to fill both internal capacitor or tanks here. So let's hook up, for example, deuterium, right? So that one I think we're producing a little bit faster, and it's okay if we void a little bit of this stuff, right? Nope, that is not the thing we want. We want mechanical types, and then we want you. Boop, boop. So notice that it filled up liquid deuterium in both tanks. That's not good. That's not what we want. No, thank you. No, thank you. What we want to actually do is turn on prevent input overflow. And you can shift click to clear tanks, by the way. Notice now I cleared both tanks. It only allowed one tank to be filled by the liquid deuterium. So if you're doing two different fuel sources like deuterium and tritium like we are, we want to prevent input overflow, right? And now we can come over here with you and do that. And we've got deuterium and tritium as our fuels, which is good. So the second button, as a reminder, is going to void leftover fluids. So if we ran out of tritium, for example, and we had just deuterium in there, it would void the little bit of tritium that stays behind that doesn't get used up so that we can have two fluids of deuterium going on. But because this is on, that wouldn't happen. We don't really want to use this one in this case, but if you had multiple fuel sources going into a reactor, it might make sense. And finally, void output overflow. I'm going to turn this one on because I'm not going to capture the output. If we're looking at this, let's see, deuterium and tritium. Where are you at? This is tritium. This is hydrogen and tritium, right? So that's one thing. Deuterium and helium, lithium, deuterium and tritium. That's going to output helium and neutron fluid. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know if I need to capture the neutron fluid. I mean, I'm going to not for now. If we decide in the future to play more with this stuff, neutron fluid you can use to get, tritium and helium out if you combine it with lithium or boron. I think you can also, can't you also use it for something else? I don't know. But long story short, we don't need to worry about that none. So we're going to just void the output overflow. I'm not going to capture the outputs. We're just going to let it void. Goodbye, output. That's fine. Let's get ready to turn this thing on. So step 1, we got to give you power. Step 2, we got to be ready to take power out of you. So what I'm going to do is have a flux plug here, and you're going to be on the generators network. So any power we generate will go into the flux plug and go into the generator, right? We also need a flux point, though. And what I'd like to do is get the Direwell 20 network going here, and you can see that guy is outputting 800,000 RF a tick, because that's the limit. So boy, is he getting hot. That's a good time. Woot. Nice. So we need to charge up a ton of power into this thing. It needs a huge amount of RF just to get the reactor hot enough for what we want to do. And then we're going to need a lever. And I'm pretty sure the lever is going to turn this bad boy on. So let's get the internal buffer of RF and temperature heat up, right? So the RF is being used to heat the reactor. And you can really pump in as much as you want. If I disable the limit on this dude, we'll see that he's transferring 8 million RF a tick. And boy, that is pretty cool beans, right? Oh, there we go. Did it turn on? Temperature is going down at the moment. I always forget if you want a redstone signal on or off for this guy. He should have run. So I don't think we're transferring RF into him anymore, right? Yeah, the RF is done. Why did you like kick on and then immediately turn off? That's my question. Hydrogen, tritium, helium, and neutron fluid. Really? Deuterium and tritium. Those are our fuel types. What's your beef, stranger? What happened? That was weird. Did I miss something? Is something not obvious? Or something very obvious? Normally, for me, it's something very obvious. You're probably all like, dude, Dyer, you forgot to X. Where X is something very obvious that everybody except me sees. But I'm not seeing it yet, so we're going to give it a minute. So maybe when this drops, what'll happen? Let's turn off. Well, you're going to be pretty quick here. Interesting. Looks like it's like kicking on and then not. Let's turn you off. Deuterium and tritium should be a valid... I mean, it looks like it's kicking on for a sec, right? If I... yeah, like he's spiked. We saw him do a little bit of RF, right? Let's do like 800 and turn you off for a minute. So he's still cooling, so that's not enough. 8,000. Temperature change still going down, 80,000. I want to see the temperature change going up, 800. Let's do like 100. 200. There we go. Now it's going up. I want to see how much. Yeah, what are we doing wrong here? Because what should happen is he should kick to life once we hit that 8 million Kelvin, right? 8,000 kilokelvin, right? Which is 8 million Kelvin, right? And then it should like go. Like do the thing. Let's do this and this. Let's do this and this. I'm clearing your output tanks. Void leftover fluid. I don't know. Boop, 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 boop. Hey, there we go. You know what? It might have had some weirdness in the output tanks. I think for some reason, maybe it used, maybe it did a double deuterium thing. That might be what it did. All right, so this guy's no longer pumping energy in, so we don't really need him anymore. So what I'm going to do is just disable you. Is there a way I can disable you? Or do I just break you? I guess that's my only option at this point. So I think what happened is it had just a smidge of double deuterium going on for some reason, and it decided to run that. All right, so wow, we've got temperature going up, right? So here's what's going to happen. As the temperature rises, right, which is happening pretty quickly right now, but it's going to slow down over time. You can see the temperature change is going down. So right at this point, we're getting 50,000 Kelvin per tick. That's how much we're increasing this. But it's going down, right? So it takes more and more heat to build up. Your efficiency will climb, right? So we're at 0.1% efficiency. As the temperature goes up, the efficiency will go up. But if we get too hot, the efficiency will become a problem. So we're going to want to monitor that situation. So we've got the energy stored here. That's pretty cool. This is basically how much RF a tick we're producing. So we're really inefficient at this point. We are nowhere near the efficiency limit that we want to be at, but look how much RF a tick we're producing. Already 7,000 RF a tick and climbing. This is going to get really good really fast. Because we have void output overflow here, the reaction doesn't stop when the tanks fill up, which is good news, because otherwise it would have stopped by now. Let's pop home now that that's running, and let's see how our hydrogen and tritium are keeping up, right? So in theory, I'm guessing you guys are going to struggle a little bit. Yeah, you look like you have a net loss. To me, it looks like he has a net loss. Now, how about you, deuterium? How are you doing? You look like you also have a little bit of a net loss. So yeah, definitely things that we need to improve. So let's do pumps from this dude. Pump, 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 pump. Did I not teach you how to make pumps? I feel like now's the time to do that. Pump from mechanism. And then we also want that filter thingy from mechanism. Filter upgrade. Boop, boop. So let's get like 10 of you, and let's get a couple pumps. And we're gonna see how many of these we need. And we're gonna want some ultimate universal cable, and we've got that already. And we're also gonna want the speed. We've got a decent amount of those. We've got enough for 8 pumps. So let's also get from our inventory here some water. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. So your job is to be all kinds of cool, buddy. Right? That looks good to me. Now the pumps, how are you doing? Good. Can I do that and everybody's happy? Looks like it. Perfect. All right, everybody get, ugh, I did the thing wrong. I shouldn't have put that there. Let's get our filter upgrades. Boop, boop. All right, let's get a quick tank. Oh, that's cool. Where'd you come from, tank? Oh, you probably came from that. Okay, that makes sense. Ultimate fluid pipe. Let's remove you for a sec so that I can do this. All right, so that'll clear all that stuff out. Once the fluids are clear. There we go, now we're cooking. Heavy water, right? Is everybody behaving heavy water? I want to see everybody having heavy water in you, or at least be empty. Everybody either empty or heavy water. Ultimate. Heavy water, heavy water, heavy water, heavy water. Just want to make sure nobody has water in him, otherwise that would be a nuisance. Okay. And then... Cool. And then we want speed upgrades and stuff. So you should already have your upgrades. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of speed upgrades. And then these guys. Perfect. All right, so you're no fluid. I guess you're all behaving yourselves? Empty. Why are you all's broken? You're empty. You should all be getting the heavy waters. Right? You're all behaving? Is deuterium going up now? It's actually really close. It's hard to tell if it's going up or not. It looks like it's down, though. It does look like it's going down. It's flickering for sure, but I think it is a net loss. It is a net loss. Okay. And we definitely have to worry about our tritium as well. How are you doing, tritium? Hurting a little bit. So what we might want to do here, then, is another line right here. Boop, 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 boop. Perfect. All right, so let's get like 4 more pumps. And this time I'm going to insert the filters before I do that. So this will be cool. You can go away. I don't need you guys on me at this exact moment, nor do I need you, nor do I need this. Okay. And mechanism, give me like 64 more of these. 64 more of these. And I believe I should be able to do this. And you guys will all be producing heavy water. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then you can connect your ultimate mechanical pipes. Actually, I don't like that all being there. I think we'll just do it like... Cool. And would it make sense to do something like... I don't think it's necessary. But maybe that'll make the mechanical pipes be a little bit smart about the rendering of fluids. I don't know. Don't seem all that smart still, but yeah. Alright, get all the speed upgrades into this dude. Energy upgrades next. And hopefully that's enough deuterium to keep our reactor running now. And we'll see if it is or not. Because that's a big... Hey, look at that. That's a net gain, right? I think it is. I think that's a net gain. I think we done did it. All right, net gain on deuterium, check. Now tritium. Let's sleep through this night and see if we can get tritium up and running. So what we're going to want here is to up our evaporation dudes, right? So let's remove you guys, because you're technically not needed anymore. If I remove you, right, 3.29 temp. I do not believe you are necessary anymore. I think I can just do this. And yes, that is cool. Now if I make you... Now, are these tile entities? Somebody remind me. Building gadget. They are. Boo, Cephalus. That's not even a reference. That's an inside joke that nobody will get. Okay. Now what you got going on? I mean, that's a pretty significant bump. Now I don't know if the other one needs to be as tall. Like how does this work? Are you producing more brine than you can handle at this point? You definitely don't seem to be. Your production actually seemed a little bit low. Okay, so you are making lots of millibuckets of that, and your heat's at 3.3. Can you get like higher? I made you 10,000. Are you gonna go any higher than 3.3? Let's give it a few minutes here at 10,000 RF a tick. Like I was hoping to see like a big boost, right? I don't know if we're gonna see that. So yeah, it doesn't make a difference. It's sitting at 3.29. Okay. So 400 does seem to be about the max that you want that to be at. It doesn't make a difference, it seems. Well, that's pretty cool. So let's let this slow down. And we might have to have multiple inputs going on here. And we'll figure that out. But I want to see if we can get it to the point where we're producing enough of the liquid lithium stuff to make a difference. I'm gonna make you 1,000 RF a tick and see if that helps. That's definitely helping. Okay. And you're still processing way faster than necessary. Now you, I presume, are still a net loss, right? Yeah, that is not a good sign. We are definitely net lossing on tritium here. If we can't get this going sooner than later, we're gonna need to restart our fusion reactor. We might need more than one of these. Or we might need to make it a bigger footprint. I don't know. I don't know how big it can get, to be honest with you. I mean, we're at 231 millibuckets per tick now. So we're definitely ramping it up. I mean, we knew we'd be burning a lot of tritium. That did not do the red particle effects thing. So I think we just hit our max height. So this is as tall as I can make it. It could be wider, to be fair. But that would require breaking the whole thing down, right? But that's about as tall as it'll get. All right, so we're sitting at like 280-ish, right? I wouldn't mind. I want to see you get hotter. You're not getting hot enough. 2,000 RF a tick? Wow, you're really going down, aren't you? Are you just not producing enough heat? I don't know. We'll have to play with this a little bit next episode, I presume. But if we're producing lots of brine, so you could use a little bit more sizing at this point. I want to see once the tick acceleration wears off, where you wind up. Yeah, your brine is still going down. And then you guys, are you keeping up? They seem to be. All this seems to be keeping up just fine. So the solar neutron activators are not backstuffing yet. This guy's actually got a little bit of a net gain going on. So we're like super close here. He looks like he has a net gain going on, doesn't he? If I'm looking at that number on the top of the screen, it's going up still. And we're still doing this. So I want to see this backstuffing of brine go away. But I think we're really close. Which is at least making me comfortable to know that I'm close to getting what I need. Once this backstuffed brine goes away, I think we're going to be at a net loss again. But at least I can tick accelerate my way towards doing a better job. So at this point, we will probably start to see the net gain stop. Right? So we're at 378, 379-ish now. It's close. We're at 380. I'm going to let that run for a minute before we wrap up. Oh, see, now we're dropping. See, now we're at 378, 377. So we definitely have a loss going on. So I want to tick accelerate this. I also want, if I can we have more than one valve? Is that a thing that we can do? Because if I can pump water in a little bit better, that would be cool. And, I don't think I need another sink. If we can pump water in a little bit better, that would be cool. Let's put a ultimate mechanical pipe here, but I'm gonna disconnect you. And then you can pull from that, right? And that might be good. And let's give you... Cool. See? I mean, we're still not pulling enough water in, to be honest with you, but hopefully we can make a little bit more happen. We'll have to see. Still, this should now be giving us a net gain of brine, which should be a net gain of tritium, so I can at least hold myself over until I get more tritium production without tick accelerating. So we shouldn't lose it. But let's go, before we wrap up the episode, I want to peek over at our fusion reactor and see where it's at on heat, because we still also have to cool our fusion reactor and make sure it's stable. So there's the plasma that I talked about, right? Also, how's my chunk loading over here? Not claimed, so I should probably do that. Ugh, killing me, Smalls. I can get rid of those, right? I think so. I should up the limit to how many chunks I can claim. Config common world. I'm guessing spawn radius. I'm thinking this is the one that does it, right? Does it have to be utilities that does this? I'm pretty sure it is. Pretty sure it is. I would think it would be in world. I don't know. I'll have to find it later. How are you doing, buddy? So you're doing okay. So your temperature's going up. Your efficiency is actually pretty close. It's at 90% efficiency. What are we generating here? 2 million RF a tick? Not too shabby. Yeah, right around 2 million RF a tick. Not too shabby. Our efficiency's at like, wow, our efficiency climbed really quickly. That is surprising. So if we let this thing get too hot, my understanding is that it becomes a problem, right? So we're gonna have to do some cooling next episode. So let's wrap up here. Double20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We'll come back next time and we will start cooling this reactor, and we'll start looking at making sure that we have enough tritium to cover what we need to cover, because at this point we are not producing enough of this stuff to be good. All right, Double20 signing off. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Take it easy.